Got it.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Women's Maximum Fitness Podcast. I have a repeat guest on, which I'm super excited. Melissa Brodsky, you are 1 week out from your show. I don't know if you have to tell us what show you're doing, but how you doing?
Well, it's 11 a.m., so I'm great. Ask me again in a couple of hours. Usually I hit a wall around 1. But I'm doing the Tampa Pro. This will be my pro debut, and I'm so excited. I feel ready. The nerves haven't quite hit yet. Maybe it's the exhaustion and depletion talking, but it really hasn't hit me that I'm going to be on stage on Friday. Pretty crazy, but yeah, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing really well. Yeah, we're doing great. I was going to ask you, first of all, I wanted to say that this is kind of our first chick chat, which I think is going to be something that will be happening on a more regular basis. So we're just trying to figure out who else to compile with us that in the industry that people would like to hear from on a regular basis. But I know you had a couple of goals the last time I talked to you, one of which was to possibly do your pro debut this year, because we did our interview. When was that? Way back. I don't even know. Honestly.
February, March.
Yeah.
Something like that. It was after I got my pro card. I know that.
And yeah, that was one of the things. One of the other things I think that you've been doing a really good job with is posting more stuff to social media. I know you had said that was a goal of yours as well.
Yes, so that was a struggle for me at first. It's taken me a minute to enjoy it. Like, it's a lot more relaxed for me now. I mean, my boyfriend Ryan, he's been like really helpful with. Well, first I felt pressured to do it, and now I just feel like, I kind of shifted my mindset. I'm just sharing. That's literally all I'm doing. I'm just sharing. I'm not posting anything for anyone, just what I feel like putting up, and it's made it so enjoyable.
Yeah, it has been very sort of relaxing following your journey. You don't really, like you said, you don't force a lot of content. It's just, a lot of lighthearted stuff, which I think I do that a lot when I don't feel like teaching or like, you know what I mean? Like sharing workouts and stuff like that. I just kind of am jokey, and you, you definitely have the sarcasm going for you.
Yeah, it's something that I do. And I like that on social media. Most people catch on that I'm like, I know I have like I can have dry humor, dry sarcasm. It's just how it comes out. It's just what my face does. And like my mom, my boyfriend, like in person, sometimes people are like, I didn't know you were kidding. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm just messing around. And that's kind of how I am on social. So.
It doesn't always come across. I think sometimes I know you end up replying to people a lot in your story too, because it's like they don't understand what you're saying or like get sarcasm. So sometimes that gets lost via social media and text. But yeah, knowing who you are.
Right, but it's mine, so I'll say what I want, and then if it needs clarification, I'm happy to give it to you. But
right.
The people who get upset about stuff, I either don't engage or I am lighthearted about kind of getting to the point, because I'm not trying, I'm not here to argue with anybody. I'm just here.
Right, exactly. And if they don't like it, they can find somebody else, Yeah, social media is pretty crazy. So do you look into your DMs or not so much?
So I not so much. I don't respond to people even as much as like I would like to. I do still find that very overwhelming. Yeah. Even people who I feel like I've created relationships with, I sometimes just like don't look at my DMs.
Yeah.
My boyfriend has like he looks through my requests a lot, and like he'll find, you know, some ones that are like important questions or ridiculous things. So I reply here and there, but
Yeah.
I have a whole life and stuff in real life, and not that social isn't real life, in person life. And you know, I was actually thinking about this yesterday. For anyone who would get frustrated that I don't reply, I just want to say, if it were you,
Yeah.
would you reply to hundreds of messages a day?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, yes, I am putting myself out there as a figure, as someone to be reached out to.
Sure.
But at the same time, like, that takes time in itself. And then would you want to respond to all those messages? So,
well, and you get to choose, and you also get to protect your own safety and your own, you know, person. It's a protection as well. Like, there's, you know, people always think like, if you are seemingly doing pretty well in life, or you're an elite level athlete or whatever, that you're unshakable. And it doesn't take much to, I mean, those things can be very disturbing when you, some of the things that you see or hear or find. So I think that's a really good, like what you're doing. I've done that before too. I've had friends go through my direct messages because it's not towards them. So it's not as disturbing when they see different stuff, and they can say, oh, like, you can delete this, or, you know, this person's, you know, because usually, I mean, what is it? It's usually guys. Hey, like, hey, I have a question. Ask your question then, because they're trying to get you to.
stop.
That's Maverick, everybody.
He is talking to me. He's like staring at me, just like trying to get attention.
So cute. But I
yeah,
like, if people were, I think like a friend of mine was like, well, you could just respond to this. And I was like, no, because that opens the door, and then they want to have a conversation. And I don't even text my friends regularly every day. You know?
Yeah. Which I totally, I learned that the hard way at first. You know, last time we did a podcast, I genuinely, like, I let myself get so anxious and overwhelmed because I felt at that point an obligation to respond to people. I was like, oh, you know, they're supportive of me, or they are interested in what I have to offer. So never. So I almost owe them this, and it was draining me. And it was opening doors to have, you know, like you just said, these conversations that aren't even necessarily like even, you know, guys complimenting me and stuff. I was saying thank you to everybody, because I felt like I owed that to them for acknowledging what I was putting out there. And you know, I don't have to do that. It's, you know, they're messaging me. They don't expect a response. They might be looking for one. But if they want to unfollow me or whatever because I don't respond, okay, whatever. I can't. Yeah, I mean, it's a sanity thing. And a safety thing.
Yeah, you can't put the energy. Well, you know what I equate it to, and I'm not trying to say like, you know, treat it like a celebrity, but like, if you're a celebrity walking through a crowd and, you know, 500 people said, I love you, like, I love your music, they wouldn't stop to say thank you to each person who says that. So in the same respect, you know, the best I can do usually is I'll go through and like all the comments that are, you know, that are below a post. And I usually do that just before I do a new post, so that I can kind of condense my social media time as well.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, it's like if somebody came out to the store and complimented you, that's like one-on-one, and you would be able to say, oh yeah, I bodybuild or whatever it is. But like if it was 500 people, like you would do nothing else during the day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I have laundry to do, dishes to do. I'm a person, I'm not just a face on your app. I'm a whole person.
Yeah.
I have actual obligations. So
Absolutely. So, and I think, this, it's definitely appreciated, you know what I mean? So, but you can't be expecting, it's like, writing a letter to a celebrity. You can't expect a response, even if they see it, you know what I mean? So,
right. But it's also like, I'm grateful. I am totally like, I appreciate the messages I get. They make me feel amazing.
yeah.
And it's overwhelming in a positive way as well. It's really,
Yeah.
like sometimes I'm just like, I can't believe how nice people are, like, and how much people care.
Right.
Because I mean, to be totally honest with you, I've never really been like a fangirl in any way. I don't, like, I see people, no matter what you do, if you're a celebrity, something, whatever, you're just a person who does that.
Yeah.
Like, I just see people as people, and it's really cool to me that people see me as someone to look up to.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, I'm just over here like building and climbing my own pedestal for myself.
Right.
And then there are people like deciding to watch. Like, that's crazy. It's really crazy.
I think that it's kind of underrated, the people that put themselves out there, because I've always felt like whatever somebody is doing, if they are like living their dream and their best life and they're showing it to other people and it's very positive, showing people something that maybe they didn't think could be done, it inspires a lot of people. And I think it's really brave, regardless of, if it's bodybuilding or, you're doing makeup or you're a chef or a parent or whatever it is. Like, you're going to help somebody when people share, part of their lives. So, you have become such an elite athlete. Your physique is phenomenal. I'm so excited to see you on stage in a week. But even along the way, you've had photo shoots. Have you been like, I don't know, when you look at those pictures of yourself from like you had your violate the dress code photo shoots and stuff like that, like what goes through your head when you look at those pictures of yourself?
First of all, I've been having so much fun doing the photo shoots. I've done like some videos over the past 6 months with Brandon Walsh and his crew, and I'm having like a freaking blast with it. It's really amazing. When I see those pictures, I'm blown away. I mean, I'm like, that's me. Like, I've created that. Like, that's, I mean, of course there's everyone else that I'm working with to make that picture come to life.
Yeah.
But from those pictures to even the videos that Ryan takes of me in the gym, especially right now with my conditioning, you've been shredded before. You don't feel it,
No.
but then you see it and you're like, whoa, like,
Yeah.
it's just as amazing as if you were looking at another person.
Yeah.
And to see that it's you, and to know what you've put into it, and to have this representation of that, that's there forever, it's
Yeah.
amazing. I mean, that's the only way I can describe it. It's just,
Yeah.
Just as if you're looking at someone else and saying, wow, I genuinely say that about myself. I'm impressed with myself.
That's awesome. Yeah, very out of body experience. Because like you said, it's hard when you're looking at yourself to see like what's all there. You know, I think when you get this close to the end with a prep, you do take a lot more pictures and videos because you're just like seeing new cuts and new veins every day. It's like insane. But the pictures that Chris took, where were you guys that had like the cliffs and the rocks and the water?
So the beach shoot was, I think it's Asbury, New Jersey.
Okay.
Yeah. I met him. He and Elle live in Philly, and then we drove like an hour and a half to this beach, and it was gorgeous.
Yeah.
And of course, we had to show all of their new bikinis. And then we did a shoot just a couple weeks ago that I posted a few pictures from at Anarchy Gym in Baltimore.
Yeah.
Because we have, they're coming out with all these new shorts and cute things like that. But, yeah.
So how do you handle, like, is it hard for you to wrap your brain around, because I think it doesn't happen quickly when you're in it, but it does happen quickly that your physique changes. Do you know, like, what was your starting weight when you started prep? How long ago was that? And like, where are you at now?
Okay, so it's always weird to me because I get asked, reasonably often, like about the weight difference. And when I do my check-ins,
yeah,
I take my weight, but I don't think about my weight. I'm not like, okay, I've lost this much weight, because it's just about how lean I'm getting.
Sure.
So I never think about those numbers. But this prep, I started the biggest I ever was. I was 169.8, so 170 pounds. And then right now, as of this morning, I was 135.2. Wow. So that's a lot of body fat, 35 pounds of body fats. And if anything, I've put on muscle,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. What was your stage weight for when you got your pro card? Do you know?
I think it was 126, 127.
Okay.
So
like 10 pounds.
Yeah. I mean, obviously I'm not dry right now, but I imagine I'll be around 132-ish on stage with the carbs and with being dry.
Yeah.
So that's a good amount of muscle, and I'm definitely more conditioned than I was.
Yeah, you look fantastic. It's gonna be I hope you're excited.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. And over the past few months, I've gotten with quite a few companies. I have BB Custom Suits. Rebecca, she's making my suit. I should have it in the next couple of days. I can't wait to see what she did. I met with her a couple months ago, and we chose like colors and an idea, and I was kind of like, I want to stick out like a sore thumb. So I have no idea what she's about to give me. My feedback was I needed more contrast, so we're going with different colors this time.
What were you?
And then what is that?
What color was it last time? What color did you go with last time?
So last time I used a suit that I wore back in 2016. It was like the fabric itself was like had multicolor, but like gold like specks on it. And then the crystals were AB. So on stage, it just kind of looked all gold, and it was beautiful. But my feedback from the judges was, tan skin, blonde hair, gold suit, too much gold.
Yeah.
So went with more contrast. And then also All That Glitters Gems just sent me heels and jewelry. And oh my God, I did a little unboxing video yesterday that I'm going to put together. It's so beautiful. I'm again just overwhelmed with the people, with the support and people wanting me to represent their brands. That is just, what an incredible feeling.
Yeah.
You know, and I want to represent these brands, and I want to represent them well. And I can't wait to on stage.
I love this attitude that you have of just being your best and grabbing these opportunities that are, you know, arising. I think, and realizing that you have, as an athlete, sort of an obligation to be aware of people that you want to help showcase and that are going to help you as well. So there's a lot of like sharing going on and a lot of like, yeah, I think that you're just representing yourself as an athlete really, really well and being very smart about the choices that you're making.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's these sports, this sport, I am aware that it is a little bit political,
Yeah.
you know, and the relationships that you create are so important.
Yeah.
The connections you make, you know, not for anything like getting ahead, but just for being in a good spot in the industry and being approachable. And that's how I want to present myself. I want, you know, even if I don't take every opportunity, I want every opportunity for sure.
Well, if somebody is looking at you in that perspective, then you are obviously presenting yourself in a way that's, you know, marketable and advertising material. And I think that's huge as well, because I mean, we all know this sport doesn't really pay. What pays is the extras on the side that you can make connections with or whatever. So, yeah, and then you keep putting yourself out there. It is really important. I think that, you know, when you have a gift, you have an obligation to use it to its fullest potential, and what you get back from that is going to vary on what you put out there. So you're just gleaning it all.
Right, and I'm a big part of it is becoming aware of what I have to offer and appreciating myself, what I have to offer, because, you know, we all have childhood and conditioning and things that we are told are not quite possible for us. Not that I was ever told that I couldn't do things, but, you know, like I think I told you last time a story about when I was on a college visit with my mom when I was like 16, 17. I had just started, and I told her, I'm going to be elite at this sport.
Yeah.
And she said, hardly anyone is elite at this sport. And even if you are, you know, you can't make money off of it. It's like less than 1% of people. I said, okay.
Yeah.
But so I didn't really talk about it that much. I never mentioned the Olympia stage until this past year, because I just thought that's ridiculous. But I also thought, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to say anything about it because no one likes to be shot down.
Yeah.
And if you can dream it, you can do it, right?
Well, and now you have found your kind of your support group. You know what I mean? I think at the beginning, you know, dreams are kind of fragile at the beginning, and you have to be careful who you share, you know, what your goals are with. You want to have positive feedback. That's, you know, the fertilizer to get things going. You know, now that you're in a good spot and you've sort of proved yourself to this point, it's probably a lot easier to speak it into existence because you are already this far up the ladder and climbing, you know. So
speaking of, I just told Ryan the other day, I said, I know I've never told you this before, and I don't know if I've ever told anyone else. So I think you're about to be the second person to ever hear this, and anyone who's listening. When I was younger, I liked to watch shows like Project Runway and I don't know, just all the modeling contest shows.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that I didn't really understand that there were other kinds of models aside from runway models.
Right.
And I was in awe of that. And I wanted to do that, but I knew I was short. I never said a word to anybody, not my parents, nobody, that I would love to model. And here I am doing fitness modeling now.
Right.
And it's kind of like that dream came true. I never said a word about it.
Yeah.
And I thought back on it. I was like, holy crap, I'm doing it.
Totally made it happen.
Yeah, I remember researching if they had seasons of these shows where they would do short models.
Right. Right.
They didn't do that.
I honestly think that, well, and the whole modeling industry now has, they're doing more inclusive stuff where they have your everyday body types and stuff like that. But like a reality show like about fitness modeling would be huge. You know what I mean?
Oh, that'd be cool.
It would be hearing like the diet programs people are on and the training that they're doing to get to look the way they are. It would be pretty cool.
Especially since with like fitness modeling, it's not like stage lean. It's like just past attainable, for the average person. That would be really cool.
Yeah, that's like 6 weeks out look, 8 weeks out. Yeah,
where like people could totally do it.
Yeah,
awesome. Hey, there's an idea.
There you go.
We can have our chick podcast and then a fitness modeling show.
All right, let's do it.
Why not? We'll get a group together. That'll be, we can do a 12-week challenge.
Yes, to be fitness model ready.
I like it.
I think it's a great idea. That would be a big deal if you had like a bunch of people, a bunch of the pro athletes in the industry who are your coaches. Who wouldn't show up for that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, like RuPaul and Tyra Banks, but like fitness.
Exactly. So you have like you and like, I don't know who else would be, like Sarah Kovacs and Missy Truscott. I'm trying to think of some of the women that Drea Shaw, get bodybuilding Olympia. They're all your coaches. You check in every week in front of them. Maverick thinks it's a great idea.
He does. He wants in on it.
He's such a pretty dog.
Yeah, he just rolled his tennis ball under the chair and then pretended he couldn't get it.
They helped me. I heard it too. So I was thinking about your suit colors. I don't think you want to reveal, but I was thinking what would be good, what I would love to see you in. And I think my favorites are always the blues and purpley colors. So, and then I like reds too. I didn't used to like red, but I like red a lot now. Your red violet clothes, I think you did like 6 or 8 posts. You were like, I love these so much.
I love them. Like, they're so cute and so like fit so well.
Yeah.
Like, it actually, like, it doesn't just look cute. It's like really comfortable to wear.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't used to be. I think as personality changes, as you evolve as a person, different, your tastes and stuff change. And I didn't used to be a red person, but I think as I became a more confident person, I like red a lot more now, it was weird. I think I always felt like it was too aggressive. And then I was like, no, this is the color of confidence. I love it.
No, I totally agree with you. I used to wear, I still like, I wear a ton of black, but I wouldn't wear like, how it's trendy to wear like the same color, like bright colors, like a whole outfit. I would never do that.
Right.
And I didn't even notice that I started doing it. I just, like the other day I wore I posted a leg day video and I was wearing a neon yellow bra with pink shorts and neon yellow shoes. And I don't give it a second thought.
Yeah.
But it's totally an evolution of confidence thing. Because I never would have done that, you know?
Do you think that bodybuilding, like this sport, because it is a progression, it's a constant progression and it's a constant evolution, do you think that trickles down into the rest of your life? Like, kind of, do you think the people that are drawn to this sport are also people that are drawn to constantly being better in other areas of their life?
Yes.
Yeah.
I do. I think if it's a genuine interest in the sport, now some people, will start working out and then say that they're in the sport and just that's a whole different thing. That can be a dangerous situation where you're, putting yourself, putting too much on your plate at once that you don't understand. But the people who are genuinely willing to learn and grow, and that starts with admitting to yourself that you have a lot to learn within the sport, I think that totally translates outside of the sport, knowing that you have progression to make in different areas of your life and that you don't know it all. You are not at an end point. There's always a light and there's always a tunnel and it keeps going.
Yep.
Yeah, I totally think so.
And like constantly changing too. This is one of the things, like, because sometimes, I've been hard on myself too about having to take breaks from the sport with things with life, injuries, whatever. But I remind myself that I'm always trying to figure out a way to make it work out for me so that I can continue to move forward. You know what I mean? Like too busy, you change your training split so that you're doing, full body workouts a couple of times a week rather than just not training at all, or you get an injury in your lower body, you make sure that you do more upper body. If it's something that you love, if something is important to you, I just think you are going to really try to find a way to progress with that. And I honestly think that just, how can it not trickle down into your work, your finances, your relationships,
right?
Which is, I think, also why you tend to have people who come and go out of your life as well. And I don't know about you, but I kind of welcome that. And it's like, you don't chase people because you just know that they were there for a season and they're not there anymore. And that's okay because they're making room now for somebody else. So you think?
Yes. That I struggled with that previously. And I noticed as I evolved in the sport mentally, especially, it translated to that part of my life with relationships where, I had this big friend group in high school, and I was, within the friend group, there were different groups, girls who were very, very close with each other. And I was more, I had really close friends here and there, but I didn't have a core. And after high school, I told you last time I went into treatment. I, dealt with a bunch of stuff. I took off from competing. I was still, like you said, I still made my training work. I still, progressed in different areas with that. But I realized I didn't have these friendships anymore. And for a long time, for a couple of years, I tried to hold on to them. In my head, they were still there. Even though part of it was I wasn't there for them, mostly because I was dealing with whatever I was dealing with, which is generally not a great reason to not maintain friendships, but at the same time, if they are on their way out anyway, had I let them go, it could have been a lot easier on myself. But it took that time for me to be okay with the fact that these were friendships and these people are not in my life. And I can still keep up with them. I can see what they're doing, but it's not the end of anything to let it go.
Yeah.
Because these relationships serve their purpose at the time. And I don't want to call it a hole that it left, but the opening, the doors that opened when I, let these relationships go have actually allowed me to form relationships that suit me better. And I'm now discovering people who I share interests with, and not just because I was in the same place like school as these people. Now I'm actually finding friendships and relationships with people who, have my common interests, who want to grow in the same ways that I do. And I'm not bitter. I'm not upset. I would love to see some of these people again. It would be wonderful, but I'm okay with it. I'm okay that it's not what I tried to hang on to for so long.
Yeah. Well, to add to that, two things. One, I read this quote at some point, and it said that part of the reason that we are hesitant to let things go is because we don't think that we will ever have anything as great as that again. So you don't think about what that's going to replace this relationship, this job, this whatever will be better than what you had. That's just, I think, kind of human nature, for us to hold on to things rather than accepting something new that could be better for us. But, you would never know if something's not working for you, or if people are growing apart or whatever it is, to let them go, so that you would never know what was going to be that replacement, because there wouldn't be room for it, So, yeah, I think it's really important to, I think it's really important to just be constantly evaluating your relationships in your life. And the second thing was that I think you draw people as you mature that have common goals, rather than have maybe like common pasts, where you can kind of, you tend to that tends to make you sort of a victim if you think about like things that happened to you, created who you are. And I mean, it's not necessarily bad to acknowledge those types of things, but I think that as you mature, I know, being halfway through my life, I think a lot more about the people that I want in my life that are going to help me get to where I want to be, rather than dwelling in the past.
Yeah. You see many people who but identify with their past, with their problems, with their diagnoses, and they make their lives about this one part of them. And I think it's so important to realize that is a piece of who you are as a whole.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be what you revolve yourself around. Yeah. And I think people limit themselves a lot in that way.
And you can work through, a childhood trauma or tragedy or anything. You can work through something, and still be progressing, still be functioning in life. I don't feel like you have to, put life on hold in order to try to fix or heal yourself. I think that you can, I think you can still work on things, you know what I mean? I want to tell you this story. I thought about this. I was thinking about this the other day. So back when I was in high school, I was a swimmer, and my junior year of high school, I was at the state finals, and I was swimming the 100 fly. And I used to wear my goggles like really, really tight. They were like, they'd be like this big around, and I had them super duper tight. And I was stepping up to the block for my event, and I pressed on the nose piece and it snapped just before the race. So I'm like, like, please let me get my goggles. Let me, like, I got to have them because I wear contact lenses. I knew I wouldn't be able to see and stuff. So I went back to my towel on the bench. My spare pair of goggles, somebody took them. They were gone. So one of my teammates comes running up with her goggles, and which they're super loose. So I'm like trying to fix them. I'm all flustered. The starter's like, we gotta go. So I step up on the blocks, and he says, take your mark. And I just took off, all flustered, totally jumped the gun. I'm like the only one in the water. I get out of the pool. I'm so upset. I'm like, this is my, it'd be like, going to the Olympia and then like you trip and fall off stage or something like that, like you break your, I don't even know. But anyway, so I'm super upset. I go sit down by the bench. I'm crying, and my coach comes over to me. She gets right in my face, and she's like, I understand that you're upset. She's like, you have 2 more races that are relays, and you got 3 more people relying on you. So you have to get yourself together and get ready to move on, because this event was about you, but this is a team sport and you've got other people relying on you, And I said, that's fine. I said, I just need 5 minutes to cry about this, and then I'll be ready to go, And now when like things get tough in my life, a lot of times I talk to my mom, and she's always like, this is how you function. You need a minute to kind of mourn and be upset, and you can work through it in your head if you thought you could have done something different or whatever, but you're able to move forward in your life. And I just feel like, that's kind of what struggles show us, and like traumas or, events like that show us how to be stronger. And, that crap happens and we just move forward with it. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I was thinking about that lately, how things aren't always about us, even if we think they're just about us or just happening to us. And it's our responsibility to, be functioning members of society and move forward, especially like, somebody like you have a lot of people who are probably relying on you more than to encourage them in their own lives as you continue to succeed in your life. So
I think that's a really incredible ability that you have and that you recognize in yourself, is that, people handle things differently, but to know about yourself, okay, I have to sit and process this, and then I can let it go.
Yeah.
And some people don't have to process. Some people should process, but to be aware, like, I need this moment to be upset, and then I can totally move forward and know that happened, but it's not going to define me moving forward. Yeah. And, some people won't process because it's scary to process. Yeah. And then it ends up kind of being a defining factor, because you're like, I'm a screw up. This is what I do. I screw up.
Yes, like that could have been like, I failed. Remember that time but it wasn't a time. It was like, remember when you found out how strong you are?
Mm-hmm. Like, you failed at that moment, and then you got back up and continued to succeed going forward.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And I think perspective has a lot to do with it, but yeah. It just makes me think about, especially with like parenting and stuff too, like how I want to raise my daughter. Maverick looks so cute.
There's a little guy.
He is so cute. I love him.
He's such a pretty boy.
Yes.
Yeah, so pretty.
But yeah, I think about that like with parenting, how I want to raise my daughter. And I want her to understand that, to embrace those struggles, their experiences, opportunities to grow, to be, to test yourself and to become better. And when you do that, then when things happen later in life, you kind of know how to handle stuff, or how you handle stuff too,
Yeah. And I just want to say, I adore what I see of your relationship with your daughter. I adore you guys. I really do. I think it makes me so happy to see that you're best friends.
Yeah.
It's really, it's a wonderful thing.
She's hilarious. Her dad was over last night dropping her off, and we were laughing about something in the kitchen, and he's like, you two are just, he was just laughing. And I was like, hey, Anna, remember how everyone said you were going to hate me when you were this age? And then I was like, we proved them wrong.
Adorable. But yeah, I mean, she's like a little you, and just like, I'm excited to, see your personality come out in her, because you're insightful and you're funny, and you obviously, created that relationship. You weren't about to let her hate you at, in her teenage years.
Yeah. It's tough. Like menstrual cycles, those are the tough times, but otherwise we do pretty good. So I couldn't be more happy. Yeah, I love parenting. I love parenting like you love bodybuilding, I think. Yeah, so it's cool. So a question for you, what do you think is more difficult, contest prep or doing 30 days of crest weight strips?
I have never done a consistent 30 days of crest weight strips.
I know.
So I'm going to go with that. Because, as bad as dieting and training hurt, my teeth can't take the white strips.
Oh.
No, that's too hard for me. Good question. I'll do them like once a week.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'll do them like once a week for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then I'll wait like 3 months and then do it again. And so I don't think I go through 30 I might go through 30 in a year. I don't know.
I know, like I think they want you to do it for like 2 weeks, and after 2 nights, you're just like, wait, I'm supposed to do this in the morning too. And then like, do you drink coffee? Because I'm like a coffee person. So then
I drink coffee like 4 times a day.
Yeah.
Like I am like my cortisol through the roof. So much caffeine.
It's really funny.
Sometimes I drink it before bed just because I like the way it tastes.
Oh, that's how I know when I'm dieting, is because at nighttime, even I had this a couple nights ago. I just started a little bit more of an aggressive cut, but I had decaf coffee before bed. I loved it. I just love it.
Yeah, I should probably get some decaf. It doesn't keep me up, which I think is another problem. But yeah, no, decaf wouldn't hurt. That's for sure.
So has your sleep been good for prep?
Up until this past week. This past week, I've been having a harder time. I fall asleep pretty much just fine. Yeah. I smoke every night before bed, and that helps a lot.
Smoke?
What is that?
You smoke? Oh, smoke.
Yeah, pot. Yeah. Every single night before bed. And it.
I thought cigarettes at first, and I thought, where's this going?
No, I do not smoke cigarettes. I don't think that would do much for me. But yeah, no, I smoke pot every night before bed, which is very helpful in enjoying my last meal.
Yeah.
And falling asleep.
Yes.
But I've been waking up just this past week, like 3 times between like 1 and 6, you know? So, and sometimes it's
Ooh, there you are.
good. Yeah, I mean, usually like I wake up, I have to pee, but like,
Are you
I mean, what is that?
Are you hungry?
When I wake up?
Yeah.
No. Well, I mean, I'm always hungry. I could always eat, but I don't think about that when I wake up. I want to go to sleep because I know that the better I sleep, the more I sleep, the better my check-in is going to be. And right now I'm checking in every morning. But yeah, up until now, I've slept like a dead person. Yeah.
Nice. That's nice. I think that's the worst part. I think as soon as I start like being in a deficit, that's when sleep starts to get affected. So
Because of hunger?
yeah, I think so. You know, I mean, there's definitely ways to mitigate it. I just feel like just kind of less calories. It actually, what it reminds me is that when I'm eating in a surplus, you just actually feel like a little bit more sluggish. You know what I mean? Like you just have, you're like, oh, I can sleep. Another bowl of carbs, I can sleep. You know?
Yeah. Well, actually, the other day, Shelby had me have, we did like a little, like 2 days of rice.
Yeah.
And one day it was 8 ounces of rice with every meal. And this is after being like on almost no carbs for months.
Yeah.
I like it wasn't even enjoyable. You know, I wanted to enjoy it so bad, but it wasn't. After my 5th meal,
Yeah.
I fell asleep. Ryan had to wake me up 3 times so I could eat my last meal. And I'm sitting there like, you know, trying to shovel rice in my mouth, but wanting to sleep. No, and it's uncomfortable. Yeah, it's it kind of weighs you down.
Yeah.
I mean, it feels good going in, not at that point, but you know, off season.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I definitely agree. It's
Yeah.
it does make you sleepy.
There's pros and cons. There's pros and cons too. I mean, when you have to gain and you have to eat a lot, eating a lot of clean food definitely is not fun. You know, it's not like it's not like you're eating chips and pizza to, you know what I mean, to, you know, gain weight, but like
If only.
you're like, I hop again. Shoot. But yeah, so remember, I wanted to share this too. I kind of wanted to share it with everybody, but I thought it was kind of cool. So last time we talked, so the beginning of this year has been kind of a health journey for me of getting my emotional eating on track. And yeah, and it's been a really great process of fixing my food relationship. And yesterday actually, I weighed in yesterday, but so I'm down 10 pounds from the beginning of the year just by not just by being more, I mean, I do a lot of tracking and stuff like that, but I haven't been doing a lot of, you know, I don't have these emotional eating binges where I eat too much. I don't want to say binge because I don't usually do that, but you know, where you just kind of mindlessly eat. And I have been doing that. And so, yeah, I'm really excited to be in a much better headspace because I think, like, as you know, when your head is not in a good space, it doesn't matter what your body looks like, you're not happy with it, you know?
you know, that mindfulness is transforming, like, you know, it's mentally, but also like in the way that how you view yourself.
Yeah.
Like you said, it doesn't matter what you look like. It's that mindfulness with the emotions and the food and understanding why you feel the way you feel.
Yeah.
And then, you know, making that shift, it changes how you view yourself. You could look exactly the same from one day to the next, but feel totally different about it. But that's awesome. Congratulations. That's really good.
There's a power to that, because then, you know, the way that your physique changes doesn't have any bearing on how you feel mentally, because you're okay with yourself. You know what I mean? And you know that you have the power to change it at any time, because you have control over your relationship with food. You know what I mean? So it's like just winning.
Yeah. Been there, that's for sure. And I, you know, to be totally honest with you, I struggled in the past with eating disorder, and in my off season this past year, my last prep, I didn't have any issues until off season. Like in that period when I should have been reverse dieting, I started to experience some long lost emotional food related feelings. And just in the past couple of weeks, actually since I traveled to Baltimore a couple of weeks ago, and I went to a bridal shower, a baby shower. I shot 2 YouTube videos, and I did a shoot with Violet, and I drove 12 hours there. It took like 11 hours to get back. And since then, that was a lot of people, a lot of stuff, really late in prep. I have struggled a little bit mentally with my relationship with food, in terms of, it never bothered me. It doesn't bother me, when my boyfriend eats whatever he wants in front of me. I'm not like, I'm choosing to do this. I don't care what anyone does around me.
Sure.
But to just be around so much of, here at home, I'm in my space. I have my food in my fridge and everything.
Yes.
And to just be on the road and around so much family and all these people kind of just doing whatever, I was very out of my element. I was very tired, both, from all the travel and from prep.
Yeah.
And since then, it's, it's not cravings, but it's just that emotional exhaustion.
Yeah.
And food is, years ago, what my issues kind of manifested themselves as. And I have an awareness now of what is happening there. So I can say it out loud, talk about it, and that helps. Like I told Ryan, I was like, this is what I'm experiencing. And it sucks and it's hard. But I know what it is now.
Yeah.
Whereas previously I didn't know, and I gave into it because I didn't have control over it.
Well, and I think a lot of people have anxiety about, I know I do, like we go visit my parents almost every weekend now. I know that's a day that I'm probably not going to be like tracking when I am trying to actually actively, like I said, I had kind of stepped on the gas pedal just the beginning of last week. I thought I'm going to work at this a little bit harder. I feel like I'm in a good headspace to be in a little bit more of a deficit. And, I just know that when you have those events, I mean, I've had this with clients too, they stress about, birthday parties or holidays or, whatever that it is that's coming up. So because those things are kind of out of our control, like we don't know what's going to happen. Are we going to be presented with, something that we want to eat that we could never ever eat again. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to miss out on anything, but you know what you're supposed to do. And it's this conflict. And with you being in the depths of prep, that's like the hardest time, because as much as you can get a grasp on your emotions, you still have hormones that are pulling you in a direction, telling your body it's starving, and it makes it a lot harder for you to, stay on track. So it absolutely makes sense. That's why I think a lot of people try to mitigate things that deviate from their normal routine in their environment that they can control when they're in prep, just because it's less decisions that you have to try to pull emotions out of and be logically, remember what your goal is when you're like, I'm really tired, I just drove 11 hours, I'm 6 weeks out, I want to eat chips, like
right. Like in my head, I'm like, obviously I'm not, even thinking about, like, there's no chance that I'm going to do anything to mess this up, but it's draining.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, it's draining. It just is.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it makes a ton of sense, but, it looks like you're handling things really well. That's one of the things I did notice from your social media. You seem to be in a good, like, cruise with this. Has the prep gone pretty smoothly? Have you felt like, I feel like you really are in a good headspace with this one.
Yeah, I mean, I feel, like I said, I feel like a pro. Of course, I've never done an IFBB show, so I don't know what I'm about to get into. I'm really excited to find out, but I feel like I'm ready for it. I feel like, this prep has just been totally smooth sailing. Yeah, I just have made it happen. No matter what, like right now, I'm not doing much else. My cardio is at 2 hours, plus training and everything. So it's very consuming.
Yeah.
But it's what my current focus is. And I've allowed it to be my focus.
You have this boss mentality right now. This is the elite athlete mentality that you have right now. And I don't think that there's any reason, when you put all these elements together, of having that type of mentality of, this is what my goal is right now, and this is what I'm going to do, whatever it takes, and I'm going to work hard, and I'm going to check up all the boxes. You're just going to keep climbing. I think it's the difference between, like, think about when you first did, your first show or whatever. I don't remember if you had said this, but I know a ton of people who are just like, oh, it's just like a mini Snickers. Like, you just would eat stuff that, like, that's not your plan, not even close, where you're just like, no, I have goals and I'm gonna, 100% stay on track.
Right. To me, it's like, why would I go off of, what is that going to do for me, aside from make me feel like it's okay to continue to go off the plan?
Yeah. Well, and then you have all those what ifs. I remember, so I was a smoker for 10 years, cigarette smoker. I was actually a pot smoker back in the day as well, but was a cigarette smoker. And the day that I found out that I was pregnant, I took a pregnancy test. I quit smoking, and my mindset was, if anything happens with this pregnancy, I'm going to wonder if it was because I was smoking during the pregnancy. You know what I mean? So, you have to, when you do all the things, you don't have to worry about if you didn't do all the things correctly, Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly. You eliminate those questionable factors. You did everything right, so
yeah.
And then it's important, I think, to be careful of the shoulds.
Yeah.
I posted about that actually when I was in Baltimore. Shoulds are a scary topic, and I mean, I don't know. I'm still, I struggle with shoulds. I think everyone does.
Right.
Because are those coming from me? Are those coming from what I've heard around me? Is someone else telling me I should?
Yeah.
In my head, it all just feels like it's me, but I think it's really important to begin to and learn to decipher whose shoulds they are. Let me grab a charger real quick.
Yeah. Like, pause for a second. Hopefully it didn't, I think it just paused and started again. So yeah, I think I missed that post, honestly. But I mean, it is tough. It is tough. Even like try to, you don't want to have to like, that's what regrets are too, right? You go back and you're like, oh, well, I should have done this, or so-and-so thinks I should have done this. Second guessing yourself rather than just owning your actions and your decisions and your behaviors and moving forward. This is what living your own life is, isn't it?
Yeah. That's one of my biggest struggles right there, with your own life, you know, especially, you know, I'm 24. My parents have paid for school for me, which I'm, you know, incredibly grateful for. I have one semester left, and I'm struggling with, you know, I want to finish it, I want to get my degree, but at the same time, I'm like, I've had a very hard time with school in terms of, you know, I know I have ADHD or something. I don't do how school works. I don't do it well. I'm smart. The classes are not hard for me, but doing the actual work, because everyone knows most of college work is BS. I really struggle to do things that I'm not fully interested in, that I don't feel benefit what I want to do. Although, you know, I'm learning important things, but the majority of the work isn't, you know, learning. And I have this just like issue and ongoing debate with like, oh, I'm going to finish. I know I am, whether I do this semester now, whether I take one class at a time to get it done. But I feel like I'm doing something that my parents want me to do, but I'm a 24-year-old adult who has my whole entire own life. But I feel like I should do this, like I owe something, and it weighs on me.
Yeah.
And I don't want it to, because I know it's as simple as just do it, but how simple is just doing anything, you know?
Well, when something
Really.
time, you're gonna constantly, that's where I think this bodybuilding mentality comes in. You're gonna constantly be evaluating, is this suiting my purpose? Do I need to do this? But I mean, if you're that close,
That's the thing.
you know, you just,
But man, it's been a struggle. It's been 7 years of just like stop, go, like just because I want to do other things. But this is something that I'm supposed to do.
yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't think you're going to lose anything by finishing it. And,
Yeah.
you know, you're so young. You still have so much time to, you know, pursue other things. I don't think you're wasting any time. So, and this is obviously a struggle for you, right? So it's going to make you stronger.
Yep. I mean, the only thing is with doing it, like, it depends how this Tampa show goes. I'll see, hopefully I'll be on to bigger things after this show. In which case, it's not even a time thing. It's sheer energy, like mental capacity. Like, how much can I put on my, like, I might have time to chill and play Candy Crush and stuff, but that doesn't mean that I could just as easily be reading and writing papers at that time, because my brain won't do it. And I know there are plenty of IFBB athletes and even, NPC athletes and athletes in general who very easily fit those pieces of academics and their athletics together. Personally, it's a struggle for me, but I know plenty of people do it and do it very well, and it actually goes hand in hand.
I don't know if practicing stuff makes you better at it. I think some people are just better at balancing, different aspects of life. And I think it does depend on how interested you are in something. Maybe you need to decide that this is really important and keep telling yourself that you're good at it and you can do it, and just work on the mental aspect of getting through it. It's tough, because I think too, when you tell yourself you're not sure something is worth your time, that's going to get ingrained, So I think it's important, and I think you can do it.
Thank you.
Well,
it helps to talk about it, because I need to hear that. Thank you.
We're all rooting for you in all aspects of your life. And I do think practicing all these things helps you get better at them. So, and I bet you're one of those people that the more stuff that you have on your plate, the more productive that you are. If you have time to lay around or sit around, you always you tend to put stuff off because you think you have more time. So, and right now you are in the thick of it with.
Yeah. Are you in my head?
So funny. So, well, I think that I am going to let you go. Are you I got to bring Anna to work. Are you training today, or is it an off day?
I am training today. I have chest and shoulders and 25 minutes left of cardio.
Okay. All right.
Knock that out. I'm on 0 carbs today, so wish me luck.
It's crazy. I know. What are your proteins? Probably really high, right? Carbs and fats are pretty low at this point.
Carbs and fats have been 0, aside from my pre-workout shake, where there's like this much. Except today, no carbs in that either. Protein's been 30 grams per meal. And I eat so much cauliflower rice, it's crazy.
Yeah, vegetables.
Yeah.
That's you got to be satiated, and you need all those vegetables and fiber to help you not be hungry.
If you can call that satiation, but satiety, I don't know the word for it, but yeah, if you can call it that.
Oh, I don't know what this is. Oh, back. How do I go back? Oh, here we go. Got a phone call. It was a potential spam. It was very important.
It's about your warranty, actually.
Yeah, my car warranty for a car I don't own.
Yeah.
Oh. Thanks for that. I really, we have you on our list. Or for my student loans that I don't have, a credit card I don't own.
Right.
Social Security Administration calling me to tell me that my Social Security number has been breached in India.
Oh, I get that one multiple times a day.
I know. I do too. I'm always like, oh, do you need my bank account and my mom's maiden name? And then
That's good.
they hang up on me because they know.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're cheering for you, Melissa.
Thank you. Thank you for having me and for thinking of me.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to do more chick chats.
Yeah, it was funny because I told you this after our last podcast that I was like, I'm going to check in with you. And because we just clicked, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I was like, I'm going to check in with you. But now checking in with you, and I think we're going to do this regularly. So it's going to be awesome.
It'll be awesome. Yeah, no, let's set it up, get it going. I'm so excited about that. Like that it makes me really happy.
Very cool. Very cool. All right, you guys, so you can find Melissa on Instagram. Is it at Melissa Brodsky? Is that your Instagram?
Yep.
At Melissa Brodsky. And you can follow me on Instagram at buffcake22 and the podcast at Women's Maximum Fitness. And to remember that healthy looks different on everybody. Have a great day.